we are Team OnTrack, building a job tracking application tailored for Oregon State University students as they work through their job search. This application was built by Jasmine Davis, Ethan Van Hoy, and Alex Rojas. This web application allows students to track their internships and job hunting efforts. The target users would be computer science students who are attempting to land internships and full-time positions upon graduation. Our objectives were to include account creation, job and internship tracking, skills tracking, along with statistics and contacts to allow users to keep track of networking and contact information for jobs that they're applying to. We've built a modern web application using Django ORM and SQLite as a proof of concept, with future expansion opportunities through the JSearch API. Here you can see the home page for OnTrack, as well as the jobs page, skills page, and contacts page. There's also modern authentication for users that allows them to log in, log out, and have their opportunities associated with their account.
Now we'll move to the development portion of the presentation. Each team member will discuss their primary contributions, including the technologies they used, the development process they followed, how their work evolved from the original plan, challenges they encountered, and any lessons they learned throughout the project. Jasmine's going to get us started.
The jobs tracker is one of the core features of the application. Every application a user creates is the anchor that skills and contacts connect back to. Let me walk through what it does and how it's built. Here's the basic flow. Here you can see the pipeline of all opportunities. A user can add a new opportunity, connect it to skills and contacts, save that opportunity, as well as edit the opportunity. They can also clean up their list by deleting opportunities. That's the full create, read, update, and delete cycle for a job entry. On the back end, forms.py handles job creation and editing. It handles validation so that users can't submit incomplete or malformed data, and it automatically generates the fields for the form. The jobs model here in models.py defines the actual schema, so fields like company name, role title, and status. This is also where the relationships live. A job can be linked to multiple skills and contacts. Each view, so create, list, detail, edit, and delete, pulls the right data through the job model, runs it through job form where it's needed, and passes it to a template for displaying. Here you can see one of the templates, which handles the actual display of the job list view, as well as the edit form and the list itself. So how this works is that it runs it through job form and then passes it through a template for displaying. Each template only defines what's different about that specific page. The original plan called for just one page for jobs, and that's how the initial template was defined. However, as I worked through adding CRUD functionality, I realized that I would want separate pages for each item to streamline the development process. One challenge I faced was getting authentication to work with the jobs page. I wound up writing a bypass for authentication so that I could test my CRUD functionality, and then Alex helped me troubleshoot getting authentication working again on that page. I also initially wrote my multiple CRUD pages without any styling because I found it simpler to write the core functionality and then later incorporate the UI templated styling. Finally, I was responsible for creating the models for our front end to cleanly communicate with the back-end database, providing data validation, and creating a more secure and robust application. I was also responsible for infrastructure and architecture on our application, figuring out the process to host our application on the school servers and persist it for demonstration purposes. I was also responsible for researching and deciding which tech stack we would use to build the application. We decided to use Django ORM as our team had a strong preference for developing in Python. Working on the job tracker project helped me to explore building a web application from scratch. Although I've built other applications on my own, I've relied on previous experience to guide me. In this case, Django ORM was entirely new to me and provided an opportunity to learn a new framework truly from the ground up.
One of my primary responsibilities was implementing the application's user authentication system. I used Django's built-in authentication framework because it provided a secure, well-documented foundation, allowing me to focus on integrating and customizing it for our application rather than building authentication from scratch. I implemented the registration, login, and logout workflows, customized the authentication pages, and established a foundation for user-specific authorization across the application. The original plan to leverage Django's built-in authentication framework remained unchanged throughout development. The primary work focused on integrating and customizing the framework for our application's needs. The biggest challenge was learning how Django's authentication framework worked and integrating it with the rest of the application. I overcame this by working through the documentation and incremental implementation in testing. Here is the customized registration and login pages. And we can see a user login here, seeing they are logged in. My other primary development responsibility was the skills feature, which helps users manage their skills and understand how they relate to their job search. I used Django's ORM for database interactions, templates for dynamic pages, the testing framework for automated testing, and HTML and CSS for the user interface. I first implemented the core CRUD functionality and built the skills overview and detail pages. I then expanded the feature with a dedicated Manage Jobs page and a skills statistics dashboard. Originally, I planned for skill associations to jobs to be managed only from the jobs feature. As development progressed, I realized users would benefit from managing those associations directly from the skills feature as well, so I added the Manage Jobs workflow. I also expanded my original reporting concept. Instead of only showing how frequently skills appeared in job applications, I developed a dashboard that provides higher level insights into the user's overall skill set. The biggest technical challenge was learning Django's ORM to retrieve and aggregate the data needed for the dashboard. I overcame this by implementing and testing each statistic individually before building more complex queries. I also expanded the automated test suite through development. Here's a brief look at the skills feature. Here's the skill overview page. And then from the detail page, users can edit, delete skills, and also manage its job associations. So here is the enhancement I made, the Manage Jobs workflow, which allows users to associate or remove job applications directly from the skill feature. And then finally, we can see here the skill statistics page, which provides a high-level summary of the user's skills. Overall, this project strengthened my understanding of Django development, particularly the ORM, authentication framework, and automated testing. It also reinforced the importance of iterative development through continually refining workflows, expanding functionality, and improving the user experience.
Welcome to my feature presentation for the Job Tracker application. In this section, I'll walk through my contributions to the development process, challenges I overcame, technologies used, and the lessons learned throughout the building of the system. One of my major contributions was designing the overall UI of the site. I created a modern dark orange themed interface using HTML and CSS, giving the application a clean, consistent, and OSU-aligned look. I also built the database scheme from scratch using GitHub, ERD+, and Mermaid Markup Language. I mapped out the relationships between jobs, contacts, skills, and users. The ERD became the blueprint for how data flows throughout the application. Technologies used included GitHub, ERD+, Mermaid Markup Language, JavaScript, Python, and Django. From here, I implemented full CRUD functionality for the contacts feature and optimized the UI to make it intuitive and easy to use. The contacts feature was one of the most important components I developed. Users can add, read, edit, and delete contacts, and they can search by or filter by name, company, phone number, and position. The purpose of the contacts page is to store key information such as notes, contact information, and jobs associated with the contact. During development, I realized the original contact model wasn't enough. Contacts needed to reference a specific job, not just a company, because users can apply to multiple positions at the same organization. I updated my model to include job ID and linked it to contacts, making the feature much more realistic and useful. Now I'll pause here for a quick demonstration of the CRUD features of the contacts page. This is a demo of the contacts feature. I'm going to add a new contact. I pre-filled a Claire Donovan from the Ford Automobile Company, and I want to link a job to this. It's basically the video recording software app developer from Ford. And I'll make a note that this has a very tough interview based on feedback. I'll add the contact. You'll see that Claire Donovan is now added. I also can edit, let's say Jordan Hale with Six Flags. It's going to be linked to a front-end developer position. So I'll save that, and you'll see that now has been updated. I can also delete Serena Patel. So we'll remove Serena Patel. Also, the search feature is very strong. I can search for Hale, for Jordan Hale. I can search for 444. It'll show the phone number filtered for Jordan Hale. I can search for Arlington, which is in the notes, and it will find the Jordan Hale. And also can search for link jobs. So anything like social video, you'll find Claire Donovan. Back to the development progress, I wanted to mention the JSearch API integration. JSearch allows users to find job postings and potentially populate their tracker automatically. I ran into some challenges with JSearch because it was difficult working with the jobs feature because I originally did not create that code. That was done by Jasmine. I had to study the existing code base and comments and troubleshoot how data moved through the views and templates. After refining the structure, I was able to prepare the foundation for future API integration. Additionally, I had challenges with HTML and CSS, and I solved this through generative AI to help identify template issues and maintain system styling. The lessons learned is this project strengthened my ability to debug unfamiliar code, work with third-party APIs, and adapt existing features for new functionality. Overall, it helped me grow as a developer and taught me how to build scalable, user-focused web applications. As we look ahead, right now, Oregon State's Career Development Center, shown here, provides powerful tools like Handshake and a full suite of career events and advising resources. A future step is to connect the job tracker directly with these services. Imagine clicking, finding jobs and internships on the OSU site and having those opportunities automatically populate inside the job tracker. No manual entry, no scattered notes, just one unified workflow. Also, we're refining our external job search capabilities using the JSearch API, which I integrated into the site. I'll show the JSearch API right now. Click on JSearch API, search jobs, and I'm going to search for a software engineering position in Dallas, let's call Dallas, Texas. Okay, so let's search. And voila, I have positions in Dallas, Texas. There's a principal AI native software engineer, full stack Python for AT&T. So I want to apply to this position, so I click on apply here, and it sends me directly to the website I need to apply. Commercial opportunity for Oregon State University because it fills a real gap in how our students manage their job search. OSU needs a centralized modern workflow that improves consistency, advisor visibility, and ultimately student placement outcomes. Higher placements directly support stronger university rankings, making this concept strategically valuable even in its early stages. With future potential for integration, analytics, and licensing, OSU is positioned to lead this space and innovate into a scalable solution other institutions can adopt.